whole church, we celebrate the feast of the Assumption of Mary. It is a special day for us missionaries of the precious blood, for it was on this day 204 years ago that Gaspar and several of his brother priests gathered at the Abbey of San Felice in Giano and began our congregation. It is an important day for many of our members individually, as it is also the anniversary of their actual profession as missionaries of the precious blood. Just as it is a special day for Archbishop Gustavo, who today celebrates 47 years from the day he entered the novitiate. But we celebrate Mary. We celebrate the Assumption of Mary. The fact that at the end of her life, the angels came and she was taken body and soul to heaven. The first person after Jesus to personally experience the glory of heaven. And we all share the same promise of Christ, the promise of the resurrection. And so today we celebrate something that Mary experienced in her last day, but which we all hope to experience. And that first reading we heard today from Revelation gives us, I think, a wonderful image to hold on to. A woman clothed with the sun as she labored to give birth. While this was written many years after Christ, we read this story and we see Mary. And we read this story and we know that that child she is laboring to give birth to is Jesus. And so I want to remind you that Mary, in many ways, is the model disciple. Mary, as the mother of Christ, through her yes, through her immediate running to serve Elizabeth, through the ways in which immediately after the death of Christ she must have consoled so many of the apostles. Mary is the model disciple. And so us, as disciples of Jesus Christ, are called to be like Mary, to labor in this world to give birth to Christ. Just as Mary gave physical birth to Christ, we are called to do the same in our lives. We are called to strive every day to give birth to Him at home, at work, in school, in everything we do. Through our life and through every one of our actions, we are called to give birth to Christ. Now, we don't read about them in the Gospel, but Mary, I'm sure, had her own struggles and her own difficulties, just as we do. Because living the Christian life is not easy. There are struggles, there are temptations, there are weaknesses. We fight and we work every day to build the reign of God in our lives, in our hearts, and where we live. We struggle to be faithful to Christ, to live a life worthy of Him. We struggle to live like Him, though we don't always succeed. But just as Mary received the glory of the resurrection in advance, we place our trust in the promise of the resurrection. That the same Christ who dwelled in her, that the same Christ to whom she gave birth, will raise each of us someday to heaven. In the second reading, we hear Paul speak of the promise of the resurrection. That promise for which we all hope. You and I, each of us, will someday die. But we trust in Christ, and we trust in His promise of the resurrection. We will not experience our first moment in heaven the way Mary did. Hers is a unique blessing because of her unique place with Jesus. But each of us still awaits to be greeted by Mary, to be greeted by Jesus and the angels, to dwell with them in heaven. Today we celebrate. Today we celebrate many things. We celebrate that Mary was assumed body and soul into heaven by the angels. We celebrate all that the missionaries of the precious blood have done in their 204 years. We celebrate all that individual missionaries and Archbishop Gustavo have done in their years of religious life. We celebrate Mary's assumption to heaven, the angels having carried her up to be with her Son, to be with her Lord and our Lord. And we trust that one day we too will be with them. We place our trust in the grace of God, that God's grace, the grace of Jesus Christ, the grace of the sacraments, will help us to live faithful lives, will help us to give birth to Jesus in our lives and in the world, that just as Mary did in her life, we trust that someday we too may experience the resurrection and be united with Jesus, with God, and with our Mother in heaven.